Alrighty, good morning ladies and gentlemen, this is Hairy Muppet. Welcome back to the Hairy Bash. We're getting back into the semi-finals after that beautiful series between King Kong and Schnitzel, which not what I expected at a quarterfinal, but turned out to be extremely epic. Schnitzel, a very, very capable player, but in the end still being taken out by King Kong. So now we're in the semi-finals. We've got Spear versus Arthur at the moment. Spear is, where's his details? He is from South Korea, plays for the Micro Gamers team, and he will be facing off against Mr. Arthur up the top left side of the map, who is also from South Korea, although I don't believe he's part of a team at the moment. So these guys both making it through the quarterfinals, and our other two finalists are going to be Patreus and King Kong. A nice ZVZ coming up in the next semi-final series, but yeah, it's going to be insane to see what's going on here. We've got a nice early Nexus coming out from Mr. Arthur after the Cybercore, but still looking pretty good. I guess it seems early because Spear hasn't got an expansion yet, so yeah, I can assume that Spear will be getting one extremely soon though. He's getting quite a few supply deepers though. He's worried about, I don't think he wants any sort of scouting there. He is going for a starport, and I assume there is going to be a tech lab, so he's probably going to go for Banshees of some sort, and he really doesn't want that to be scouted, which is why he was putting those supply depots down in the front. But of course, going for this extremely fast Banshee sort of play has delayed his expansion, which, yeah, that's all you can do. Is he going for Banshees? It doesn't look like it. I could have sworn he was, but maybe not. Widowmine drops, maybe? I don't know. But then he would have kept the factory on the reactor, so what did he build? Just very interesting. A bunch of Hellions coming off, but yeah, he only kept the factory on the reactor long enough to build 2 Hellions. They're going straight into the mineral line, but there is a Stalker hot on their heels, so I don't know how much damage they're actually going to be doing here. He's got, well, this guy's got 1 kill. This guy's got 1 kill. So yeah, 3 workers going down. Not too bad, but I mean, 2 Hellions died doing that, so I'd say he probably came off about even at that point. And he really needs to get working on this expansion. There it goes. Although it's, look at me saying, oh, he really needs to get working on this expansion. It's only the 6-minute mark, and he's already late on getting the expansion. So that's how much the metagame has changed for Starcraft 2. It's all about getting the early expansion no matter what race you are. And look at this, Widowmine dropping down a bunch of Marines as well. The Marines are going to get the hell out of there, I think, but oh, what? Why would you do that? Why would you move the, oh, I suppose he knew there was a robotics facility there, so that's probably why. Got to be dropping down the Widowmine on the bottom side. Oh yeah, he's going to get the high ground on the pile. He's waiting for these guys to get close enough so he can Widowmine bomb them. Thankfully, the Widowmine doesn't automatically attack buildings, otherwise that would be a massive pain in the ass. But yeah, he's just trying to bait him in, and Arthur is not doing it. But meanwhile, we've got a bunker play here. What? I don't think that was ever going to be finished at that point, because maybe if he kept the Stalkers over there, but no, I don't think it was ever going to happen. So here we go, it's a nice drop. The Widowmine is going to be burrowing. Come on, are you going to be burrowing? Oh no. No, Arthur was all over that. Once the Observer is out, totally looking after that guy. The workers, actually some of them running away in that direction, I'm not sure why. Must have seen the Hellion come past, the Observer saw it, and he just immediately ran the workers away, but in fact got him a little bit closer to the Hellion. So yes, for now, Spear doing a lot of aggression, doing a lot of different stuff, trying to poke in there and see what he can do, and Arthur for the most part has held off all of the attacks admirably. Yeah. That was not a good idea, not in the slightest. So yeah, the Marines got to be falling on back, pumping their way back to the main base, and Spear now has to start thinking about the long term, I think. He's 5 workers behind, and that is just going to start stretching even further if Arthur is chrono boosting out his workers, which it does look like he is. So yeah, Spear, not sure what he can do. He is getting a 3rd base nice and early, which is going to help quite a lot. And we do have a tech lab coming on the starport, which is very interesting. Is he going to put a barracks on here, or is he going to get out Ravens or something like that? There is a Raven coming out there. Very, very nice. Got the tank all the way back here. Just in range of the mineral line, actually. This is a beautiful play, and it's very, very hard for the Stalkers to get anywhere near here. So, yeah. Very, very nice. Spear is finding all sorts of inventive ways to destroy stuff. And look at that. He's killed 13 workers so far. Lost a fair bit of Hellions, but bit by bit, he's just doing a ton of damage to the worker economy of Mr. Arthur. And Arthur, you see, he's only 2 workers behind, so he really has been pushing hard on both of these next side, but he would be in an incredible position right now if it hadn't been for Spear knocking those workers down. Although Spear probably would have been building a lot more workers during this period, he would have been in a pretty good position. Oh, there's the Immortal scouting for what? I'm not really sure, but yeah, the medevac not going to be dropping anything. Probably scouting for the tank. He was obviously expecting a tank to be dropped down here and start sieging up on this area. So yeah, Arthur, man, the Immortal, a absolutely brilliant idea. He's just standing there waiting for the tank to siege up, and this is a beautiful position. You drop the tank there, you put the Marines there, the Marines cover the mineral line or they cover the reinforcements, and the tank goes nuts on the workers. So it's a great play, but the Immortal right there, absolutely beautiful stuff. So yes, we've got the third base down there, we've got the workers coming out for Mr. Spear. He's 3 workers ahead, 2 workers ahead. Looks like he's going to be pushing that a little bit harder. We've got a ton of barracks. Well, we've got 3 barracks anyway, and I assume there's going to be a few more coming out pretty soon. Nice little force of Stalkers coming out. Obviously not expecting too many Marauders at this point. Actually managed to get a couple of Hellions in there. Try to take out some workers. They sort of got screwed, but I think they killed a few. Oh man, we're up to 23. Wow, that's just an insane amount of workers that have been destroyed so far in this game. But Arthur is actually behind quite a bit. I think those Hellions, maybe there's a Hellbat drop that happened here that we just completely missed, but yeah, I think they did a ton of damage. The Rock's still up here, and nothing is going to get through them for a little while. Although the Stalkers could potentially blink up here if they had high ground, which unfortunately they do not. Oh, do they? No, they do. There is an observer hidden over there, and yes, just keeping an eye out for the moment. And there we go. Everything blinking up except this one Stalker. Destroying the tech lab. I think that tech lab might have been getting something important. I'm not sure. I don't know if it actually finished. Yeah, probably getting shields, I would say. Probably getting shields. But the Stalkers did take it out, did take out some other stuff. I think they destroyed a building here or something like that. So, yeah. Delaying that shield tech. I'm sure the Spear is not going to be happy about that. But for now, he's still looking in a pretty good position. His worker numbers, very, very good at the moment. His income, very, very good at the moment. His army size looking pretty good at the moment. He's got more than enough Marauders to take care of these Stalkers, and he's got tanks as backup as well. So Stalkers are not going to be worrying him. Oh, look at this guy, man. A couple of Widow Mines, and he just sort of forgot about that. Beautiful blink to take that out at the very, very last second. So there we go, and we do have Colossus coming out for Mr. Arthur. He's got his third base coming down now. Spear has already moved the third base over though, and is looking pretty good. And just a couple more barracks. I thought maybe he was getting 2 more command centers or something, but just a couple of barracks. And Force starting to move out, but it is just Stalkers, and they cannot hope to do anything versus this Terran army at the moment. They just maybe do one attack and then just run, because yeah, the Stalkers have no chance against this force. So yeah, they're just going to be falling back. We do have 2 Colossus and an Immortal waiting over there, as well as a bunch of sentries, which is definitely going to be helping Arthur as far as dealing with this very, very messy Terran force. So yes, but Vikings, of course, already coming out for Mr. Spear, so he definitely knows how to get his counters going. Do we have any sort of High Templar tech coming out? Because High Templars are always what follows Colossus tech, because you've got to anticipate the Vikings coming out. Not as of yet, but we'll see what happens. Whole bunch of guys coming in there. He's going to do a little bit of drop off, maybe run up that ramp and snipe some workers. It's not a bad plan. So there he goes. The observer is going to be seeing things. He's actually looking like he's... Ooh, I don't know. He's too late. He's meandered around a little bit too much, and the main army is here. And that is it. They're getting the hell out of there. Although both medevacs are going to survive. I did not see that happening. I don't think Spear did either. You can notice he didn't load his units into the medevac and fly off because he assumed the medevacs were going to die. So, yes. Very, very lucky there. Just sort of dancing around a bit. I mean, Spear's economy has gotten him a much bigger army, 122 over 90. Let's have a look at the upgrades. He's 2-1 versus 1-1. Arthur is just getting 2-2 started now, and Spear is getting 3-2 started now, and just about to finish off with level 1 weapons for his Vikings and for his tanks. Although I assume the tanks are going to be phased out over the next period of the game, so we will have to see. But the Viking numbers, 10 versus 4 Colossus, which is not bad. You do a couple more Vikings, I'd say, but it's not bad. And you can see he's already going for a Ghost Academy. I don't know if he realizes whether or not there's High Templars. I don't think there are actually High Templars, so yeah, he's just going for it because you have to expect High Templars at this point of the game to be coming out. Yeah, so going to be looking very, very sweet. Moving out, he's got some tanks saved over there. Thinking about going in the third base. And we'll see, the Stalkers coming in doing a ton of damage, but there is some point defense drones. They're going to be stopping a lot of the Stalker fire. Although I think they're out of energy in like 2 seconds flat. The Colossus are going down fairly fast. There's more than enough Vikings to take care of them, even while taking Stalker fire. And now Arthur trying to bolster his forces with some hallucinated Colossi. Not sure if that is going to make a difference here. Spear could actually destroy this army in 2 seconds flat, but I'm not sure if he realizes it because he may think those Colossus are actually real, when in fact they are completely fabricated and imaginary. So we'll see what happens. If he just pushes straight up this ramp, then Spear is going to be pretty beautiful. I think there are a ton of Zealots though. We can assume they have Zealot legs, and yes they do. So a ton of Zealots running into this army is going to be a little bit scary. He's going to have to do some micro to do that. The last Colossus, the one which was just built, does go down, and Arthur has given the GG right there. So the Zealots, nice touch right at the end, but they weren't enough. And I mean, let's be honest, Spear was leading the macro for pretty much the entire game after the early game when he just destroyed so many workers from Arthur. Look at that, 26 workers dead from all of his little dancers in and out. Just Arthur was behind from that point on, and he never really caught up in terms of the macro. So it's not all that surprising that Spear eventually had the numbers to just waltz in and just start destroying everything. So that's it, game done. Thank you very much for watching, and well, we'll be jumping straight into game number 2 in just a sec. So yeah, stay tuned. Alrighty, let's get back into it. Spear versus Arthur, game number 2, and Spear did an excellent job in game number 1 of getting that win. He started off with a lot of harassment, Hellions, Widow Mines, medevac drops all over the place, slowly picking away at Arthur's workforce. Finally managed to kill like 20 something workers or something like that. Bought himself a nice lead. Wasn't a 20 worker lead, only a 10 worker lead because Arthur was going nuts. But still managed to buy himself a lead, and in the end just managed to macro himself into a nice victory. So very good stuff, and Spear only needs one more game to make it to the grand final of Hairy Bash number 5. So he's very close, but it's going to be interesting to see how Arthur does here, because I think he's going to be... Yeah, he should be. I mean, he did an excellent job at defending last time, but Spear was just so relentless. It was very hard for Arthur to keep all of those attacks away. And I suppose we can expect Spear to be doing something similar. Although, as I say that, he's got the expansion coming down again, which was a hell of a lot earlier than last game. Last game, it was about a minute later because he was getting out a factory and all that sort of stuff, getting the very fast Hellions out, etc. That Reaper... really, oh man, perfect position, but I think he was on a move command there, so didn't quite get the Reaper, and now he's going to go in there, might be able to do something. Just going to scout, actually. Oh, does it get destroyed? I thought maybe he was going to take some pot shots and sort of run around, but I guess once he saw that cyber core there, he decided he can't actually get out. Once you're in here, you can't get out, so he had to do a hook turn, try and get out that way, but in the end, it did not work out. Got a nice pylon in here, and it's got to be great for getting whatever out. I'm not sure what Arthur is planning here. Maybe he's not planning anything, but we do have a couple more gates coming on down. And we do have warp gate tech, which has come out very, very early. So he may be planning something here. But if he is, I don't think that Spear is going to be too worried. He's got a nice bunker here. He's got a bunch of Marines. He's going to be locked up fairly nicely at this point. And I don't think he's too worried about any massive offensive that Arthur is going to be pushing out. Please don't tell me he's got Blink already. No, he does not. He's just going to be on the low ground looking to shoot some stuff. Mothership core. Going to be trying to do something, but he's getting very low on health. The Stalker's going to be taking out some Marines. Nice little bit of micro from Arthur. Took quite a lot of damage. Didn't really kill a lot there. But he's putting some pressure on Mr. Spear. And that, I think, is a very, very good idea, because Spear was just going wild all last game, and Arthur was pretty much just holed up in his base, defensive the entire time. I mean, he tried to push out with Stalkers, but he just ran into Marauders every time, and it just didn't work out. But he's taken out all of the one Marauder so far now, and now it's Stalkers versus Marines, which is pretty damn good. The Marines doing a pretty good job of the Stalkers really laying the damage down in this game. However, Spear just about to have level 1 weapons, and that is not going to go well for Mr. Arthur once level 1 weapons comes out. And the Marauder is out as well, so a ton of Stalkers are going down. They managed to get the Marauder out though. They've taken out the Marines. They're doing a pretty good job, but the bunker is up again. Needs a bunch more Stalkers before he can hope to take that out. But so far the pressure has been doing a lot of good things. Look at how many of these guys have gone down. 10 Marines, 2 Marauders, and 6 workers. And he's lost 6 Stalkers and a Mothership core. So I'd say excellent, excellent job so far to Arthur in this game. Turning the pressure around and really doing a good job. I mean, the 6 workers is not going to make Spear very happy at the moment. He's actually 10 behind, and maybe seeing a 3rd command center coming down sometime soon, but probably not until the 10-minute mark, I would expect. He's only just now getting a factory, so he really pushed hard on the Marines and the Marauders early in the game, which was definitely the right decision, because there were those guys coming in there, the Stalkers and all that, being a pain in the ass. Needs to get that sorted though. It's not a major concern at the moment. It's not like he's expecting DTs and stuff, but it will be nice, because observers are all over the place in a Protoss versus Terran game. So yeah, and look at this, there's an observer coming right there, so he really should have finished that off. I actually don't know why he didn't, because I mean, that just pays for itself if it kills even a single observer. And the denial of scouting information, it's a very, very good idea. So let's see exactly what's coming out here. We've got 5 Stalkers. Those 5 Stalkers are going to be in a lot of trouble here if they start coming up this ramp. Arthur does not have nearly enough. Warping into Zealous right now, not going to help a lot. The Colossus needs to be out there. The Nexus Overcharge is going to buy him enough time for the Colossus to get out. So I think he is going to be fine. As long as these guys don't stim up and snipe the Colossus, then things are going to go to shit. But I think that Arthur is going to be too smart to allow that to happen. He's going to keep the Colossus nice and far back, although it doesn't have the Colossus range yet, so it's not going to be able to stay that far back. Still having to move out there. Does it look like Spear is going to be stimming in to take that Colossus out anytime soon? Looks like they're just going to be falling on back. They don't have the numbers to take out all of these forces. And unfortunately, they are going to, yeah, take quite a bunch of losses as Arthur chases him across the map. There's like 4 or 5 units that just went down because, yeah, Spear just had to get out of there. So no medevac support. Very, very unfortunate, but he did not build the starport until sometime into this game, which is why no medevac support. So that would have helped him out a ton there, but yeah, what can you say? Ooh, the SCV, I think it perfectly scouted that warp prism coming in. So, well, it definitely would have seen it. So I would not be surprised to see some stuff over here. But then again, I'm not seeing anything anywhere over there. So maybe he just didn't see the warp prism. Maybe it was scouted, but he just just happened too quick and he just didn't realize it. But there we go, a whole bunch of guys dropping down. There's going to be 3 zealots in the mineral line, going nuts on the workers. I don't think it's going to be enough for these guys to come on back. Ooh, yeah, I thought there was a bigger force over here. Ah, there's the bigger force going down the bottom, dropping over here. The zealots still having a good time, but the marauders finally catching up with them. Here we go, having a crack at the forge. Level 1 weapons no longer going to be finished. So that was a nice bit of a snipe, considering that he didn't lose any units doing that. I'd say good job to Mr. Spear. Definitely slowing down the upgrades is not something that Arthur wants to have happen. He does have level 1 armor already, which is going to make the zealots very, very awesome in this battle, but yeah. Observer still out there, man. Missile turrets, man. I mean, that missile turret, I still don't understand why he cancelled that missile turret. It would have been so awesome just to kill observers back. Anyway, look at the dropships coming in. Arthur he's not going to let those guys go in. He's definitely waiting for them. And we do have the ultra surprise expansion up the top right side of the map going down there. And we will just have to see how good Arthur is at scouting this. He has seen these dropships over there, I think. In fact, Spear assumed that Arthur is sending stalkers over there right now to take care of them, because the probe saw it, but he's going to be disappointed because the stalkers are staying over there. Now, is he going to load these guys up and drop back into the main if he assumes the stalkers are moving? No, it looks like he's just going to pull everybody together and just sort of sit back and go nuts. There are 4 Colossus here, but no stalker support on these ground forces yet. He's going to get a full scan, and he could potentially feel like going up there and sniping those guys, but it's probably a bad decision. I mean, there's no ground support really here. Oh, there are a ton of zealots, excuse me. There's just no stalker support, but ton of zealots, and they are just about to have legs, so yes, it's going to be quite devastating. And Spear, yeah, leaving 1 zealot behind, and it's going to move the rest of them out here, maybe for a drop, maybe just sort of hanging back, seeing what's going to be going on. Yeah, it does look like it's a drop coming in once again. Thinking about it, Meanwhile, a bunch of zealots somehow got the idea that there is a base over there, and there is no way that these guys are going to get out of there. Well, they might be able to, but the zealots do have speed, so they are going to be chasing them all over the place. Meanwhile, this force going over, somebody told them there's a 3rd base over here, and they are going to be taking that out nice and fast. So, very, very easy. But they have to get out of there. The medevac's shooting away without picking anybody up. That was an interesting move there. I would have thought they'd pick them up and then boost off, but they did it the other way around. And everybody survived, so I suppose it's okay. Expansion's being denied all over the place. We just got 1 denied over there. This one got denied. Income-wise, Spear is 3 workers ahead, so yeah. Doing a pretty good job. Both players doing a pretty good job at the moment. Upgrades wise, they're doing a pretty good job. I believe we've actually got level 3 armor starting right now and level 2 weapons. Spear about halfway through level 2 for both of them, so they're both approximately even. And we've just got the same sort of tech plays happening from both players. So Spear with the Ghost Academy, he's got the Vikings coming out. Arthur with the main Colossus army. He doesn't seem to do that optional sort of tech switch onto the High Templar tech, which a lot of Protoss players will do in this situation because they assume that Vikings are coming out and they assume they have to have something else to deal with the Triple M. We never really seen Arthur do that, so we'll have to see. And I don't know what his play is going to be for dealing with those Vikings, because he didn't do so well dealing with the Vikings last time. He's got a lot more Colossus than the last game, but if he can't deal with the Vikings, then it's not going to matter too much. Stalker army is looking a little bit higher. He's looking in a lot better shape. Last game, his macro was in a mess. This game, his macro is very, very solid, and his army size is very, very solid, and his upgrades are very, very solid as well. So, yeah, I think he's definitely got a decent chance of coming out of this in a good position, but it's very much an even fight now. It's no longer Spear just owning because his macro is so much better. It's very much an even fight. There he goes, moving out. The hallucinated Colossus out there, but they are at the back side. Needs to get those hallucinated guys in the front The Vikings, there are so many friggin' Vikings, the Stalkers are going to work on them. The Zealots doing an insane amount of damage, getting in there. So many Zealots, and they're just so damn good versus those Marines. Marauders, yeah, sort of good as well. 2 Colossus have survived. All the Vikings have gone down. So Arthur has won that particular counter battle. And now he's just going to push on, and Spear just falling back in disarray almost. Well, not quite disarray. He's still doing some sort of sniping, but eventually the Zealots do go out. But the Colossus are still there. The Stalkers are still there. These guys are still dying so damn fast. The Vikings having a good crack though. One of the Colossi is about to go down, but the ground units are all dead. And there's a bunch of Zealots in this mineral line as well. So Spear just on the losing edge right there, had nothing left to throw these guys back, and that was a very, very, very close battle there. Spear, I don't know how he didn't destroy all of those Colossus. I think the hallucinations really slowed him down a little bit, but yeah, he had an insane, absolutely insane amount of Vikings on the field. They should have just shredded everything, but apparently they didn't. So let's just have a look here. So we got 15 Vikings versus 6 Colossus, which I would have said is enough. Is definitely enough. Well, we'll see exactly. So we got 3 hallucinated Colossus as well. Let's keep an eye on the Colossus numbers. So there's 16 Vikings. We're down to 5 Colossus. The Vikings. Oh, look at the Vikings right in the middle of the Stalker patch. The Vikings are dropping like flies. Look at that. They just lost like 5 Vikings in 2 seconds. So Spear, it was moving away his Triple M. He never moved away his Vikings. And the Stalker just sort of waltzed up underneath him and just went absolutely batshit. And it's not like usually the Stalkers won't attack the Vikings by default. They'll attack the ground units. But the Triple M were running the hell out of there because the Zealots were chasing them. So the Zealots chased away the ground units. The Stalkers just sat under the Vikings and just shelled them all away. So a ton of anti-Colossus damage was being done. But still, the Vikings just suddenly, they just all died really, really quickly. So that's it. Game done. And Arthur has come back in this series. He is now 1-1, and we will be seeing an ace match to decide which of these fantastic players will get to go to the grand finals. So stay tuned for that. This has been Hairy Muppet. I'll catch you guys in just a sec. Alrighty, here we are. The semi-final for Hairy Bash number 5 between Spear and Arthur is the ace match, the very last game. We've seen Spear do some incredible worker harassment in game 1 to buy himself a macro victory. And we've seen Arthur come back in the second game with some great Stalker play to take out a bunch of Vikings. Although, to be honest, I think the Vikings could have been controlled a little bit better by Spear. He kind of just left them sitting there while he was trying to save his Triple M forces, and because there was a ton of Zealots after them, and his Vikings just sort of got left there and ended up on top of a massive amount of Stalkers, and the Stalkers just shredded them. And after that, there were still Colossus alive, and they just basically did a fantastic job at killing everything. So yeah, bit unfortunate there, but what can you say? So we got some nice fast expansions coming out for both players. This one a really, really nice fast expansion. May have been before Barracks, but I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, it's going to be looking like a very, very nice map. Again, Mothership Core coming out nice and soon is actually a really, really good opportunity to be killing some workers there. Simply because, I mean, where are the Marines going to be at this point? Not really anywhere. So for now, he can just sort of rally all these workers over there and just go nuts on that base, which is going to be fine. I think he's hoping that the Mothership Core doesn't scout this starport, because that starport has got to mean only one thing. It's got to be Banshees at this early point in the game. Maybe extremely early drops, which we did see in game 1, so maybe that's going to be the way to go. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Banshees, because yes, in game 1, Spear did go for an incredibly early starport. He actually went for it before his expansion and just started bulking out with medevacs, going for extremely early Widow Mine Marine drops to get into Arthur's base. And I assume that's what he's doing, because that's what won him his only win so far in this series. And yeah, if it works, just keep doing it. So let's see how this goes. He started off, this is exactly the same as what he did in game 1, basically. His exact game 1 play start, with the Hellions. Although the Hellions in game 1 managed to make it into the mineral line and actually killed like 3 workers. But this case, no, they are going to get blocked off by the Stalker, so that's unfortunate. They are going to roast a probe though, just to sort of, you know, make up for the fact that they couldn't do anything else remotely useful. So there's the Widow Mine. 2 more Marines are going to come in here, and then he is going to go and have some fun with the medevac, with the dropship. There is a Stalker waiting over there. There is a cannon coming down here. So Arthur definitely knows what sort of play this is because he saw it in game number 1. There are still 2 Stalkers watching this point, and yes, it's definitely going to be spotted. So Arthur all over this playstyle from Spear, has no doubt whatsoever that this is what is going on. Oh, he's got a gap here. The cannon is not finished and the Stalker has run for it. Nexus Overcharge is going to be chewing up those guys. Where is the Observer? There it is, and manages to save the Widow Mine just before it got destroyed. But yeah, that stuff is not going to happen anymore in this game, and suddenly Spear's offensive moves from game 1 no longer working as well as they previously did. And yeah, I suppose he went full on macro versus macro in game 2 and lost, so he'd prefer not to do that again, but he may have no choice. He may have to go full macro versus full macro again. But he's moving in here, and Arthur just moves back just enough. Can't take out the Widow Mine. Oh, he was focusing on Marines while there was a Widow Mine there, but finally did take it down. And the Stalker is just so ballsy, so good against Hellions, so good against Marines, just forcing them back. And talk about fast tech, Arthur almost got the Robotics Bay up. So he's definitely going for some extremely fast Colossus in this game. And Spear is just falling back into straight up triple M play against this Protoss player. So yeah, that's going to be it. Looking very, very good. One thing as well that Spear did have in game number 1 was siege tanks, and the siege tanks really did a lot of good work. He got them in some nice positions, he got some nice workers being taken out, although in that map, siege tanks were a lot better of an option. In this map, siege tanks not really all that much. Maybe they can sit here and attack workers, but that's a bit of a stretch, so I'm not too sure what they could do. Other than that, there's no really good approach that siege tanks could use. But on the first map, there were tons of ways you could use a siege tank just to do so much good work. So, yeah. There we go, the third base coming out. Arthur just looking so strong in this game. Looking like he's definitely got things under control. So, we'll see how long this all lasts. Do we have 3 barracks with tech labs here? Oh, we do, man. So that's going to be a lot of Marauder production for Mr. Spear if he decides to use it. The first Colossus is out, and Spear instantly is like, oh crap, this guy's got Colossus already. Let's get the hell out of here, because this is not going to work. It's going to be dropping down here 4 Hellions. There is a cannon, but a cannon is not going to stop workers from being destroyed. A couple of Zealots are going to be lots of fun though, and a Stalker as well, just for good measure. And does force these guys away. Not that many kills so far, but nice distraction to maybe allow him to stim in and get this third base. Arthur a little bit slow on the counter, but still fast enough to force these guys to run away. And Spear is playing it nice and safe here. Not really going all in at any particular point. He's always pulling back. And the medevac, oh, it does get destroyed. So these guys are running for it. Are they running for it? No, he's forgot about them. Completely forgot to micro them out of there. And 3 or 4 units going down as a result. So definitely not something you want to be seeing at any point in the game. It's just a couple of units that you just like completely forgot to move them when you needed to move them. So yes, there we go. So we've got 1-1 for Mr. Arthur. There we go, 1-1. We got 1-1 for Mr. Spear as well. And we've got the same old macro play coming out. So it looks like Spear, his harassment has been denied all through this game. So he's going to be going into his straight up macro play, getting that third base, getting some Vikings, getting the armory, getting all the stuff he needs to counter Colossus. But whether or not it's going to be enough, I just do not know. The income is, well, Arthur's got a bit of a lead actually. He's looking very, very good. He hasn't killed any workers from Spear. In fact, he's lost a few himself. But he's pushed ahead regardless. I think this earlier third base has helped him quite a bit. and the fact that he's got Chrono Boost, of course. So it really is the fact that Spear needs to start knocking those workers out if he wants to be on equal terms. Either that, or he just has to mule his way into a victory. And he is getting a few mules out at the moment, so it's going to be good. Moving Stalkers across the map. I'm not sure what the play is here. I don't think he can blink across that gap. That's just a little bit too much. If he wanted to look out, he wouldn't have moved all these guys over. Maybe he's hoping to snipe a medevac or something, but he gets a little bit more than he bargained for. They're going to be running for it. Can't run very... He stops, and the Marauders are still chasing him. Arthur, what are you doing? You do not stop like 5 meters away from where the enemy was last having a go at you. You just do not. Couple of Zealots getting away. They're going to be running into the backside here. Nothing really to stop them. There are a bunch of Hellions, but yeah, they're going to move in, and a bunch of Marauders as well, so that's going to be enough. Another attack going on here. The main army has come out for Mr. Arthur, moving across, pushing these guys away, and it's just a little bit of to and fro from both players here. Worker losses not really going up at all, and yeah. Oh, very nice Arthur with incredibly good sense of when things are going to happen. He may have scouted that with one of these Zealots or one of these guys. Needs to get that Zealot on the watchtower, man. That guy is like, just couldn't get past this corner. Just got stuck on the corner for some reason. So, yes, income-wise, not favouring Arthur anymore, but the army size definitely is. And with 4 Colossus on the field, he's facing 9 Vikings, but he's got a very, very decent amount of Stalkers. So here he goes, moving out with the Stalkers in the front, hoping to snipe some Vikings, but does move back. And Hallucinated Colossus going out once again. They're running into a missile turret though, but the missile turret gets taken out straight away. A scan coming down though, so he does see what those guys are, but I do not know if Spear even has the forces he needs to take these guys out. The Stalkers attacking the ground units, the Vikings having a good old time destroying the Colossus, and I don't think they're hitting any of the hallucinations. No, there they go, they're starting to hit some of them. The Stalkers still having a pretty good job. The Stalkers are all attacking ground units though, not really attacking the Vikings, which is that thing where I was talking about last game, where you really, really want to have the Stalkers away from any other ground units, so the only thing they can attack is the Vikings, because they will always prefer to attack the ground units if given a preference between them and the Vikings. And the Vikings even having to land, because there's nothing else really for them to do. And so far, Arthur way out in front in terms of the army. Spear just sort of, I think he's about to GG here. I don't think there's much he can do. Look at all these units streaming in from Arthur, just way too much stuff. And there we are, GG from Mr. Spear, and Spear will be heading off to the 3rd place round. Meanwhile, Arthur moving on to the grand finals. So stay tuned for that. That will be in a little while. We still have to figure out who Arthur's opponent is going to be. Is it going to be Patreus, or is it going to be King Kong? Let's just have to stay tuned and find out. So I will catch you guys in a few days for Patreus versus King Kong. Look forward to it, and I hope you enjoyed this series between Spear and Arthur, the semi-finals for Hairy Bash number 5.